Happy New Year, everyone! I hope you enjoyed your holiday break. That said, I am happy to welcome everyone back for another video, and for today, we're going to continue learning IVR with queries. So what is a query activity? Query by definition is a question. It is asking a question about something. And it's no different when it comes to understanding how it is used within IVR workflows. The query activity allows IVR routing to read and write information through a Microsoft SQL connection, LDAP provider, Excel sheet, or an ODBC connection. Simply put, you use the query activity to ask and retrieve information from a specified database and store this information in a custom variable for use within a workflow. With queries, you can create a workflow that can retrieve customers' call history from a database and then provide this information to agents. Advanced queries enable a single query to return multiple records of information that can be stored in multiple variables. For example, in banking, we can create a workflow using advanced queries that can return customers' account balances throughout the past year. Callers can then have their account history be read back to them within the workflow. You can define simple or advanced queries and also define simple or advanced write statements for query activities. The query activity is available for voice, RAD, outbound, and management workflows. When working with query activities, we must first configure our data provider. Data providers pertain to the main database of information that we will be querying. To configure a data provider in your Site Explorer, go to IVR Routing, then select Data Providers. Click Add, then choose from the list of supported databases you can use. In this example, I'll be using Excel. Provide a name for your data provider. Browse to the location of the database you are going to use, select it, and save your newly configured data provider. In this sample workflow, I am designing it so that when a caller gets through, they will be asked for their account number. Based then on the account number they entered, they will be transferred to the appropriate department. So far, we have set up the workflow to collect the account number. You can see we have the collect digits activity with a custom variable account number that I defined in the previous video. If you need to refresh yourself on how to add custom variables, watch the video on how to add variables in IVR workflows. Now we want to add the query activity. Locate it in the toolbox and add it onto the workflow. With the query activity selected, we must first define the data provider it's going to query. Right-click, and then choose Edit Database Provider. Select the data provider from the list, and then click OK. Next, we are going to define our query. To do so, right-click again on the query activity and choose Edit Query Definition. This will pull up the database lookup window. This is where we essentially construct the question. Under Query Type, you can choose between Simple and Advanced, and for our purposes, we will select Simple Query. In the Settings section, we can now define our database lookup. To understand this more clearly, let's look at the sample Excel database we're using. As you can see, it's a very simple example. It has the following information: account number, dialable, warranty, language, and name. Remember that we want to transfer the customer to the appropriate department based on the account number. So, after database table name, we will select the sheet. In this example, we only have the one sheet. Next, you have after column return name. I will select dialable. Remember, this is the info we want to retrieve. This pertains to the extension of the department they would be transferred to. After variable return name, I will select last query result. Note that you can choose another variable to use. Perhaps you have created a custom one to house the retrieved information. It's up to you. After column where name, I will select account num. Remember, this is the main reference point we're using to look up the result. Looking at our Excel sheet again, the column name is account num. After variable where name, we will select the variable that houses the account number, and again we have created one specifically to house this information with the account number variable. After defining those fields, we are done. Notice that you can also write up raw SQL statements if you prefer. More importantly, you can perform a test query. In this example, we will enter the account number 888. And looking at our database here, it should return the dialable 2000. Click on the Test Query button and verify that you obtained the expected result. In our case, it is correct. Click OK, and now we have successfully built our query definition. Looking at our workflow, to complete this process, I'll add a transfer activity, and when defining its destination, I will select the variable last query result, which is the variable we defined in our query earlier that will store the information on the dialable extension where the caller will be transferred to. As always, don't forget to save your workflow configuration and make sure to check for errors. We have just shown you a quick sample of a simple query. Imagine what you can do with advanced queries. I hope this video encourages you to start using the query activity in your workflows, and as I always say, hop onto those labs and see what you can do. If you need more information on IVR or are interested in checking out all the other courses that we offer here at Mitel Global Education Services, please visit us at mitel.com/training. You can also check out our course catalog here. Thank you again for joining me today. As always, keep learning and have a great day.